friends. Welcome to Sky House Herbs podcast. I'm Ashley Elenbaas, a clinical herbalist, and in this space, I share my knowledge and experience with plant medicine to help you on your own journey of healing and transformation. Join me in exploring the ancient wisdom of plant spirit medicine and how it can be used to heal the body, mind, and spirit. We'll talk to experts in the field and share stories from people who've been transformed by powerful plant allies. New episodes are released each Monday, so please subscribe. And now, let's explore this mystical world of plant medicine together. Hey Herbies, welcome in. Today I'll be answering the question, why am I always cold? We'll go into why people feel cold, what cold can actually mean under the surface, some herbal remedies for coldness, and of course, a lot of discussion about the symbolism and some of the teachings that we might not go to first, but we should when it comes to warming our bodies. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, now is a great moment. Please click subscribe, click for notifications, as that helps my channel to grow and more people to learn about the value and the importance of plant-based medicine. So thank you. Also, a quick plug for my year 1 herbal apprenticeship course, which will be starting in April 2026 and every April here on forward. So if you'd like to study herbal medicine with me and dive into a year-long intensive and interactive way of learning about plant medicine, click on the link below, skyhouseherbs.com, and learn more. Our early bird rates are now in effect. If you want to save over $200, please consider registering before March 5th so that you can get our early bird rate. All right, now into the question, why am I always cold? And I want to talk about this from the Vitalist perspective. In the Vitalist tradition, which comes from ancient Greece, they believe that the body has a vital force. This vital force lives in the stomach, that it's sort of centered in the core of the body, and it radiates outward. And all afflictions, maladies, illnesses are related to the way the vital force is maintained on a physical level, but also how the vital force is being supported on an emotional and spiritual level. And I'd like to talk about all of that today. Let's start by talking about what cold is trying to tell us. And if you notice that your body is cold, congratulations. The first thing you've done, which is amazing, is you've noticed your body. And our bodies are so wise. They're constantly trying to regulate information coming in, things that need to move out. All of our physiological systems are in constant communication with each other. And when we notice something is off, for example, maybe our hands or our feet are feeling colder than usual, this is our body telling us that something is off. In many traditional cultures, feeling cold is not a sign of weakness or that something is necessarily wrong. It's simply a signal that your body is needing something more, that your body is needing warmth. I want to take a minute to talk about why is it that our body gets cold. I think the first place to start in looking at our bodies and this feeling of cold is, where is the heat escaping? Because usually when our body is cold, it means that number one, there could be a leak, and number two, there could be depletion. Now, in terms of the body's core temperature and maintaining a healthy and warm core temperature, our external environment is so important in helping us, number one, get signals of cold, but also help us know how to protect against cold. And environmental pieces are the first place to start. And that means checking in with your ambient temperature. Are you keeping your home warm enough? And sometimes if we have a larger space and we don't want to spend a lot of money on heating bills, we can just buy a small space heater and use that in the places where we're working, maybe where we're sleeping, and have that as something we can use to keep the external temperature warm. At the same time, investing in warm clothing. That includes a very warm base layer. I like to wear a silk base layer under my sweaters. This is a wool sweater that is really soft. And I wear this one a lot in the winter time. Also, having good socks or slippers. These are felted wool slippers I got at a local craft fair, and they're wonderful. And they actually have formed to my feet, so it's actually very nice. But wearing slippers or something really warm to keep your entire foot from losing heat. And also, our feet will absorb cold from the floor beneath us. And if you are not protecting your feet with thick socks or slippers, that cold from the ground will penetrate up through your feet and affect the whole body. Our lower back and kidneys are also a place we want to protect from cold, and wearing a base layer is good. Even tying an extra scarf around your waist when you go out in the cold, you'll be amazed at how warm that will keep you when the temperatures are cold. And the last thing is a hat. When you go out, especially if it's windy, wear a scarf, keep the back of your neck warm, and wear a hat, because we do lose a lot of heat through the head. And it's interesting, I was looking at the evolution of pajamas over time, and people wore nightcaps. This was a very common practice throughout human history of wearing a hat, a wool hat or a cotton beanie, to keep our heads warm in the night. And if you're sleeping and you like to have that cold air temperature, which is absolutely essential for helping our body go into deep sleep states, you can still wear a warm beanie or hat while you sleep to keep the heat in the body, to reduce further depletion from environmental cold. And we can do a quick reframe here. We can think about using warm clothing not as a extra luxury or comfort, but simply as preventative care. When we prevent cold from coming into our bodies, we're preventing depletion and preventing disease. So environmental coldness is one piece we want to address. The second piece is coldness that comes from depletion. And this is very common. When we don't have enough deep nourishment and deep vital force to keep our bodies warm and to keep our systems generating good metabolic heat, we will often feel cold on the periphery. Therefore, the second piece is to deeply nourish ourselves with a number of different things. The first one is warm, nourishing, and vitality-rich foods. This can be broths and soups and stews. This can be herbal teas that are warm and nutrient-rich, like nettles and oat straw, things that are going to build our vital system and also nourish our nervous system. Deep sleep is another one. Adequate rest is essential. And I think it's important to also talk for a minute about long-term stress and grief and emotional weight that we carry, that this can also be very depleting to our vital force. And it's hard to escape it these days. I mean, let's just be real. The world we're living in, there are constant stressors, the news cycle, there's so much happening right now that we are taking in that can feel really overwhelming. And this is where I say to you and to myself to be gentle, that the depletion we're likely experiencing is real, but we shouldn't approach it from a Band-Aid perspective. That is, right now is not the moment to think about a quick fix or a bypass. We want to get real and feel what we're feeling, and at the same time, take a slow, steady approach to building ourselves back. When we're depleted, it's very common to get depressed and to think that I just need to sleep more. From the Vitalist tradition, we know that energy in equals energy out. Therefore, moving your body and getting adequate exercise, moving your blood, increasing blood flow and increasing vital heat is just as important as getting rest. So it's not that you need to do one and not the other. The truth is that we need to do both. We need to put energy into our body through exercise and physical exertion, and at the same time, rest our body and invest in letting our deep stores of vital force grow. So you might look at it as maybe you do 30 minutes of strong cardiovascular exercise, and then make sure you get 30 minutes of deep rest. So add that on to your sleep routine. Add in 30 minutes here and add in 30 minutes there. And on this same note, when the vital force is low, address it from a place of compassion. It's not your body failing you. It is simply your body educating you, I think is a really nice way to look at it. And so when you say, I am depleted, I am cold, the gentle vitalist response is, it's okay, honey. Let's just gently add some logs to the fire. And if you think about your vital force as living in the core and in the abdomen and in the center of your body, then think about building it up like you would build a fire. And I love this analogy. If we want to have a fire that's going to endure, it's going to last through winds and storms and even a gentle rain, then we need to start it small with kindling, with care, with airflow, right? We need to feed it small things first and then build into adding in some larger logs. And when we add those deep, big logs in, then what it's going to do is it's going to create these coals that will sustain heat and vital force through all sorts of different turbulent moments in our life. So what are the first things we do? What is the kindling? The kindling is our food. The kindling is our nourishment. And I would think about this both physically, like actual food, grains and vegetables and good sources of healthy lean protein, fish oils and all of the healthy fats that our bodies need. That is one part of the kindling. And the other part is the spiritual kindling. The spiritual kindling is going to be quiet moments of reflection and meditation. Spiritual kindling is going to be going into social events and groups and feeling camaraderie with others. Spiritual kindling is prayer. It's sitting and having conversations with the divine in the way that feels most authentic to you. Together, these two will start to spark that deep heat inside, that vitalist force that will keep the hearth, the center of your being, alive and well. Then in time, we add exercise, we add more routine, we add bigger pieces of art, we add more community outreach, whatever it is that is going to be the logs that are congruent with who we are as a person, that will build heat and vital force and flow. And suddenly you'll be like, I feel warm. I feel good. I feel vital again. This episode, of course, would not be complete if I didn't talk about plants. So let's talk about some medicines that are congruent with building up the vital force and building heat. I wanted to talk about this from the perspective of plant spirit and animal spirit medicine. Matthew Wood, who is one of my teachers, he recently published a book, I guess it was a few years ago now, called Shamanic Herbalism, where he looks at the tradition of the matching of animal spirits and plants based on animals that seek out certain plants, animals that look like certain plants, and the features of plants that resemble or point to different features of animals. And for this episode, I want to talk about bear medicine. Bear medicine is the medicine of deep regeneration. We think about bears in the winter going into hibernation. And I'll be honest with you folks, I am in total bear mode right now myself. Everything in my life is like turned down. It's slower. It's more rhythmic, it's warmer, it's cozier. I'm doing a lot less right now, but as a result of that hibernation, there is a deep replenishment that is happening. And we talked about this in my last episode, that replenishment is going to set the stage for higher growth come spring, when the heat comes back, the sun comes back, and the plants start to wake up. But this is a vital moment for that hibernation and that restoration of the vital force. And bears are such wonderful teachers of this lesson. My favorite medicines that are associated with the bear archetype are the angelicas. Angelicas are strong medicines, and if you have high blood pressure, if you're pregnant or you're breastfeeding, these medicines are not going to be the best match. So keep listening. There might be others. But if you're very depleted, if you are cold, If you know that your digestive fire is low, maybe you're having issues with gas or bloating, constipation, sluggish metabolism, weight gain, these medicines are wonderful at stoking the fire, increasing blood flow in the stomach and in the digestive organs, in the small intestines. And I find they really help us to focus our attention on what is at the core of our health. They are also wonderful dream time herbs. So if you take little doses before bed, that is also a nice way to help enhance your dreams. And you can even burn both Angelica sinensis and Angelica archangelica root as an incense to help you with your own visioning and creative spaces. Now let's talk about the difference between our Western Angelica and Eastern Angelica. Both of them have very similar volatile oil compounds. They look very similar. They're both in the same Apiaceae, sometimes called the parsley plant family, but there are some subtle differences. The Western Angelica or Angelica archangelica that grows here in North America is warm, sweet, acrid, oily, definitely considered a bear medicine and was referred to as a bear medicine in many indigenous tribes here in North America. It is one of the plants that is eaten by bears when they come out of hibernation. It is very oily, sweet, rich, and it helps to boost digestive functioning. However, in my experience, one of the major differences is that Angelica archangelica really seems to open the sphincter of the mind. Now, while it does have a very warming effect on the full body and circulation, I've noticed more personally and with clients and students that the Angelica effect seems to be more upward and outward. So if we are feeling that our depletion, maybe there's depression, that if there's a lot of energy that's moving downward connected to the cold, the Angelica, archangelica, is going to move the energy upward and outward. And I really notice it in my mind. I notice a clearing of my thoughts. This particular variety was used in shamanic rituals and practices for opening the mind and for opening visual space. You can burn it as a smudge for that purpose. Angelica sinensis, or the Chinese Angelica, very similar. It is sweet, it is acrid, it is warming, but it has more of a downward and nourishing and tonifying effect for the digestive and the reproductive organs. Quai, or Angelica sinensis, as it's called, has a very tonifying effect, especially for women. And it was thought to be, and is used very much in traditional Chinese medicine, to build up the vital force in women who have been depleted. It can really help regulate the female menstrual cycle, especially if it is very slow or scanty. It is considered to be a qi blood tonic, and it builds up qi and vital force in the body. Therefore, if depletion is something you're working on and coldness is a part of a depletion pattern, then Dong Quai, or Chinese Angelica, might be a really good fit for you. Remember, both of these are contraindicated in pregnancy because they have a stimulating effect on the uterus. However, if we want a stimulating effect on the uterus, Angelica sinensis is going to do that for us. And on the other hand, if our depletion is maybe more emotional or spiritual in nature, that is where I think the Angelica archangelica is going to really shine. Now, in terms of dosing, I would start simply at 3 drops, 2 to 3 times a day. See how that feels in your body. Once when you wake up, once before lunch, and then once before bed. If that is feeling okay, you can certainly increase your dose. The therapeutic range is somewhere around 5 to 7 mils per day. So you could go up to maybe 15, 20 drops 3 times a day and see how that works in your body. Another wonderful herb for the winter time to build the deep resilience within the digestive core is burdock root. Burdock root is very safe. It's safe in pregnancy. It's safe in breastfeeding. It's safe in high blood pressure cases. And it is a food. You can buy it as a root vegetable in many Asian markets. Burdock is also very sweet and oily, but it doesn't have those aromatic volatile oils like Angelica. Therefore, Therefore, the taste is going to be more like a carrot or parsnip and less like a very warm, stimulating, aromatic, parsley flavored herb. Think of burdock as a log of nutrition for your gut. And if you're eating good warm foods, but your digestion is still a bit off, putting some burdock root into your daily digestive routine is going to be very helpful. What I would recommend for burdock root is to do a decoction. This means you're going to cook it on your stovetop. Take 1 tablespoon of dried burdock root in 3 cups of water. Simmer that covered, maybe for 10 to 15 minutes. Turn off the heat, let it sit and cool down, and then strain it and drink 1 cup throughout the day. You can refrigerate the other 2 cups and then drink those once a day. Don't refrigerate it more than 3 days or trust me, it'll start to taste pretty yucky. Another bear medicine that is worth noting is osha root. This one is a protected plant that we want to be very respectful when harvesting or when buying. Its name, osha, comes from the word osa, which means bear. I've noticed this. I just took some myself. I drop dosed all 3 before I recorded this, just so I could feel them in my body again and say, okay, what are the differences? And the Angelica, archangelica brings the imagination and heat upward. The Angelica sinensis, or the quai, keeps it all right here. And then the osha is like this big wash of heat, but it moves the imagination and that kind of fluttery. It's zings on the tongue. You get this like party in your mouth feeling, but the energy of osha is the imagination drawing downward. And if you are attuned with your body and you kind of have a sense of which direction you need to go in, that might help you decide which 3 of these might be a good fit for you. So do you need more upward lifting heat? Do you need centralized heat to stay here? Or do you need more downward moving heat? Or with burdock, do you just need something to feed you? Okay, I want to go back. Let's take a second to revisit dosing for the 2 angelicas and for osha root. All of these will be very effective in drop doses, and I promise you, you will feel this medicine in your body at just 3 drops. So for all of those, start with 3 drops 3 times a day. From there, you can increase your dosage. I will say with osha, it is very strong, and I don't want to say purgative, but it has this very strong moving action. Therefore, this one I wouldn't dose as high as either angelica. I would say this one maybe at a top dose, maybe 7 drops 3 times a day. I wanted to clarify that because I know a lot of you ask questions about dosing. And with these stronger medicines, I want to be clear about what is a safe dosing range. And also at the same time, what do you need it for it to be effective in your body? If you notice 3 drops is just not enough, then you can start to play with increasing. But as with everything, you don't have to hit yourself over the head. Go slow, go gently, and steadily increase until you find that really nice point where the medicine is clearly working. I want to take this opportunity to also talk about adaptogenic herbs, which can build the vital force slowly over time. These would include some of the warming adaptogens like eleuthro senticosus, or known as Siberian ginseng, and Panax ginseng, or Chinese ginseng. These 2 ginsengs are really wonderful, warming, gently stimulating adaptogens that can help our bodies better respond to stress, stressful situations, and also build up our reserves and our immune resilience. These have different dosing, and for a more therapeutic effect, which is probably what you're going to want, you can take this as a dropper full every morning and evening, or even as a capsule. Lastly, we can add in a layer of more overt circulatory stimulants. This includes our very spicy aromatic herbs, which work very quickly and effectively at moving the blood. Now, these don't generate heat in the body over time like our angelicas and like our adaptogens. However, they will give you a quick flush. Therefore, using herbs like ginger root, cayenne pepper, prickly ash, yarrow, to move blood quickly can be a nice way to get a little bit of symptomatic relief. Be mindful that I would not recommend these to be used during pregnancy, with the exception of small doses of ginger, just a little tiny bit, like one slice of fresh ginger in hot water for 10 minutes is safe. You may also consider some of your chai tea blend herbs like fennel, cardamom, and cinnamon. Cinnamon is another safe option in pregnancy. And in low doses, you can drink a chai-based tea as a way to warm up the core of the body. And my favorite, add a little dash of cayenne to your chai, and it just spices everything up. In closing, I think the take-home message of this video is that your body is wise, and if you are cold, you likely are being told that you need to replenish, build your reserves, and gently warm. Remember, this is not something that you need to fix overnight. It is something you need to build and nurture in yourself over time. Layering in warm clothing with warming foods, with warming herbs and teas is a wonderful way to rebuild that vital force so that you not only feel warm physically, but emotionally, you also feel warm and ready to be open to both give and receive love. And I'm telling you, in these times, giving kindness and being able to receive kindness, I think, is so important. Because what are we doing if we're not being kind? I mean, what is the point if we can't look upon one another with gentle, loving eyes and feel what we have in common? And being cold can make us feel shut down in some ways and emotionally unavailable. And by warming and feeding ourselves, we might start to notice that not only are we feeling more healthy and vibrant, but we're also feeling more loving. And again, world, let's do it. Let's get warm. Let's be loving. Let's be kind. On that note, thank you again for watching, for subscribing, for supporting my work and my channel. There's a link below if you want to learn more about studying with me. And I'm also offering some in-person live events. If you go to my website, Sky House Herbs, click on events. I'd love to see you if you live in the Midwest, in the Minneapolis area. So thank you all. Stay warm, stay well, be kind, and I'll see you in the next episode.